Photo Tristan here, back with another video, and in this video we're taking a look at the Rolex Submariner 5513 vintage model in comparing it to the Tudor Black Bay. So the Rolex is on the left, obviously, and the Tudor Black Bay is on the right. Now this 5513 is the L series, which is the very last release of the 5513. So it's got the white gold applied markers on the dial, which is very similar to the Tudor on the right. The Tudor on the right has a matte dial in terms of the black color, and the Rolex on the left has a gloss dial. There are a lot of similarities between these two watches, but there are also some differences. First, let me say right off the bat that if I would choose between these two watches, I would definitely choose the vintage Rolex Submariner. It's just a lot more choice, a lot nicer to have, and just a watch that I think is just totally classic and iconic. But when you're comparing the Tudor Black Bay to a current modern day Rolex Submariner, the choice becomes a lot more difficult because the Tudor Black Bay is literally like half the price of a Rolex Submariner. And it offers really a lot of bang for buck, I have to say. So, you know, the choice definitely becomes a lot more difficult to make if you're comparing, you know, two modern watches. But for the sake of this video and what you're looking at here, I definitely prefer the Rolex 5513. It's got some patina on the markers. It's a little bit, you know, faded, and the markers are starting to turn sort of like a cream color, which is really nice, and it's in very good condition also. So I was very lucky to be able to find that watch. Here's a closer up look of the Tudor Black Bay. I apologize for a little bit of dust on the sapphire crystal there, but here's the back of it. It's a much more substantial watch. It's definitely a lot heavier, it's thicker. The bracelet is also of a higher quality than the older vintage bracelet, just because they've made developments and stuff over time. But here's a wrist shot of the Submariner 5513 on my wrist here. And it just fits really well. It's very comfortable. I feel like I can wear it all day. And definitely more comfortable than the modern day, you know, Tudor Black Bay, because it's lighter and also thinner and just not as chunky feeling. So it just feels more comfortable on the wrist, and it's a smaller size also in diameter. The Rolex Submariner 5513 is a 40 millimeter diameter, whereas the Tudor Black Bay, I believe, is a 41 millimeter. And, you know, modern day Rolex Submariners got a little bit bigger, so they're more comparable in terms of size to the, you know, Tudor Black Bay. But I think the 40 millimeter size on the Submariner here is just a perfect size, really. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of what the Rolex 5513 looks on a how it looks on a wrist. And let's go ahead and switch to the Tudor Black Bay now. All right, so here is the Tudor Black Bay, and as you can see, it's definitely more of a chunky watch, definitely bigger, definitely thicker, but the bracelet feels a lot more substantial and heavier, as does the case of the watch. But, you know, as I've mentioned, they made improvements as the years went on, and developments, you know, they just made more developments and stuff to the bracelet. So it's definitely a higher quality bracelet, in my opinion, in terms of the way that it feels and the heft of it. And here's the two watches side by side. They're both, as you can see, quite attractive watches. I really still do like the no crown guard of the Tudor Black Bay, but, you know, each one has a bit of a unique look and you know, sort of a cachet to them, you might say. But yeah, the fit and finish mainly of the Tudor Black Bay is just more modern, you know, it just feels more modern and up to date. Whereas the vintage Rolex Submariner, the bracelet feels a little bit more just vintagey and a little bit cheapy, just because that's how they were back then. You know, it wasn't until the model after that, 5513, that they made some developments to the Oyster bracelet and, you know, started making some more improvements and stuff like that. And of course, modern day Submariners now are certainly a lot heavier and a lot bigger than this 5513 Submariner. They're more equivalent to the Tudor Black Bay in terms of, or, you know, they're certainly better than the Tudor Black Bay in terms of fit and finish and the metal used and all that. So yeah, like I mentioned, if you're comparing the Tudor Black Bay to a modern day Rolex Submariner, it's, I think, a hard choice, especially for the price being charged for each. You can get the Tudor Black Bay for literally like half of what a Rolex Submariner costs. But if you're trying to compare, as I'm sort of doing visually here in this video, a vintage Submariner, I would certainly choose the vintage Submariner, I think, over the Tudor Black Bay, although they're both really great watches and I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. Just my miscellaneous comments on the topic, and I'll be doing other videos comparing, different watches and stuff here in the future. If you have anything to add or any comments that you'd like to leave, please go ahead and do so. See you in my next video.